Hey everyone, welcome to another video for the channel. If you ask me which segment of the industry has changed the most over the last 3 years, I won't hesitate for a second. It's the big-bore Chinese trail adventure bikes. Just 5 years ago, talking about a Chinese motorcycle meant talking about a cheap, unreliable knockoff. Today, in 2026, we're talking about machines with 270-degree parallel twin engines, high-compression triples, ADAS packages with blind spot detection, fully adjustable Marzocchi, Nissan, and KYB suspension, and power figures already knocking on the door of 120 horsepower. In this video, we're counting down from number 10 to number 1, the 10 most powerful and best-equipped Chinese adventure bikes out there right now, all above 500 cubic centimeters, all with one clear goal: stealing customers away from Honda, Yamaha, BMW, KTM, and Triumph. So stick around until the end, because the bike taking the number 1 spot has an engine almost nobody expected to see on a Chinese brand this soon. And the numbers are going to surprise you. Let's get into it. In position number 10, we have the Benelli TR K702, the most honest entry point into this segment. Even though the brand carries an Italian name, the manufacturing reality is completely tied to the Chinese giant CFMoto, which has owned Benelli for over a decade now. Its twin-cylinder engine, roughly 698 cubic centimeters, puts out 69 horsepower, a modest figure next to its bigger sisters on this list, but one that's made up for with a rugged tubular steel frame, a 20-liter fuel tank built for long-distance travel, and a price tag that puts any equivalent European or Japanese mid-size trail bike to shame. It's the perfect motorcycle for anyone looking to break into the adventure world without spending a fortune. And that's exactly why it earns this final spot of honor. In 9th place, we have the CFMoto SRT 700X, the off-road version of the SRT 700 lineup. At its heart is a parallel twin engine displacing 698 cubic centimeters, also putting out 70 horsepower, already homologated under Euro 5+ regulations, delivering smooth, low RPM response and a strong pull through the mid and top range. What sets this X version apart from its more street-oriented sibling is its longer travel suspension, reinforced side guards, and a raised front fender that prep it for genuinely rough terrain, not just asphalt dressed up as adventure. It's a bike that shows CFMoto understood the game, building 2 distinct personalities on the same mechanical platform, maximizing the lineup without blowing up production costs. In 8th place, we have the Zontes 703F, the only bike in this top 10 bold enough to run an inline-3 configuration. Its 699 cubic centimeter engine with a 120-degree crank puts out up to 102 horsepower in its unrestricted version, a figure that drops to 94 horsepower in the versions homologated for the European A2 license. That triple-cylinder sound, rare in bikes of this displacement and completely unheard of from a Chinese brand, is Zontes' calling card to an audience that's starting to look for character, not just numbers on a spec sheet. With a double-beam perimeter aluminum frame and premium components like Marzocchi suspension, the Zontes 703F is proof that Chinese brands aren't just copying engine architectures anymore, they're designing them from scratch. In 7th place, we have the Cove 800X GT, the more civilized version of the successful Cove 800X family. While its pro and rally siblings go all in on extreme off-road capability, the GT redefines the formula with 19-inch spoked wheels up front and 17 out back, shorter travel suspension, a fuel tank expanded to 22 liters, and a seat lowered 50 millimeters compared to the rest of the lineup. And it does all this without giving up the same 799 cubic centimeters parallel twin engine we already know from the rest of the family. Cove, a brand that only debuted on the world market in 2022 and is already competing in the Dakar Rally, has figured out that most adventure bike buyers end up riding them mostly on the road. So they built a version made exactly for that road-tripping rider profile. 6th place goes to the Vogue DS 800 Rally, one of the most aggressive bets from Lansin, Vogue's parent industrial group. Its 798 cubic centimeters parallel twin engine delivers 94 horsepower and 81 newton-meters of torque, paired with fully adjustable KYB suspension, 200 millimeters of travel up front and 190 millimeters at the rear shock. Add to that a 24-liter fuel tank that guarantees real range for long-distance rides, plus features many European brands still charge extra for: heated grips and seat, cruise control, and a fully adjustable handlebar to conquer rough terrain without sacrificing stability on the highway. Fifth place goes to one of the most recognized bikes in this segment worldwide, the CFMoto 800 MTX, also known in some markets as the 800 MT Explorer. Its 799 cubic centimeters engine is no ordinary parallel twin. It's born from the technical collaboration between CFMoto and KTM, with a 285-degree crankshaft that gives it a very distinctive sound and torque delivery, far from your typical generic twin. With power ranging from roughly 90 to 95 horsepower depending on the market, a 7-inch TFT display with smartphone mirroring for navigation, 3-level heated grips and seat and dual USB ports, the 800 MT-X has become the most fully equipped Chinese motorcycle in the entire mid to upper category, and the must-include reference for any serious comparison against the Honda Transalp or the Suzuki V-Strom 800DE. Fourth place is, without question, the most impressive in terms of weight engineering, the Cove 800X Rally. It shares the same 799 cubic centimeters parallel twin block with 94.5 horsepower and 80 newton meters of torque as the rest of the 800X family. But here's where the magic happens, on the scale. At just 176 kilograms wet weight, thanks to a removable aluminum subframe, a single front brake disc, and lightweight spoked wheels, the 800X Rally achieves the best power-to-weight ratio in the entire mid-displacement adventure segment. We're talking about a bike lighter than a Yamaha Tenere 700, with off-road capability that puts it in the same conversation as the Ducati Desert X Rally and the KTM 890 Adventure R, at a fraction of the price. If serious off-road is your priority, this is probably the most dangerous Chinese bike on the market for the Europeans. Third place goes to the Vogue 900 DSX, one of the best-selling bikes in Europe over the past year. And here the number is simply crushing. Its inline parallel twin engine with a 270-degree crank displaces 895 cubic centimeters and delivers 95 horsepower at 8,250 revolutions per minute, along with 94 newton meters of torque. And here's the detail almost nobody knows. This engine shares much of its engineering with the very engine used in the BMW F900 GS, because Lansin, Vogue's parent company, is a direct engine supplier to BMW itself. In other words, when you're riding a Vogue DS900X, you're getting pretty close to the same mechanical philosophy under the tank that buyers pay several times more for with the German bike. At 215 kilograms dry weight, with 4 riding modes and even an integrated front camera, this Vogue is the perfect definition of the new generation of Chinese trail bikes that no longer ask for permission to compete in the big leagues. Second place goes to the beautiful and powerful CFMoto SRT 900SX, the most technologically advanced trail bike on this entire list. Its 904 cubic centimeter inline parallel twin engine with a 270-degree crank and dual overhead cams delivers 95 horsepower at 9,000 revolutions per minute and 90 newton meters of torque at 6,500 revolutions per minute, with the option to restrict it down to 45 horsepower for A2 license riders. But what really sets this CFMoto apart from the rest of the Chinese competition is its ADAS electronics package, something practically unheard of at this price point. Blind spot detection, lane change assist, and rear cross-traffic alert, all built in from the factory. Add Brembo brakes, fully adjustable long-travel 43mm inverted Marzocchi suspension, and 19-inch and 17-inch spoked wheels with mixed Maxxis tires, and you'll understand why this bike is already going toe-to-toe with the Ducati Multistrada V2S and the Triumph Tiger 900 GT Pro, bikes that cost double or triple the price. And we've reached number 1, the most powerful Chinese adventure bike on this list, the CFMoto 1000 MTX. With a 946 cubic centimeter engine putting out a staggering 111 horsepower, this CFMoto completely shatters the ceiling that, until very recently, the Chinese industry had been stuck under, hovering around 800 cubic centimeters for years. With an official weight of 222 kilograms, the 1000 MTX doesn't just win on raw numbers. It does so while staying true to the philosophy that's taken CFMoto from being seen as KTM's junior partner to becoming a powerhouse with a voice of its own in the global industry. Brembo brakes, Bosch fuel injection, and Pirelli tires are all part of the equation. A clear strategy from the Chinese brand. Partner with the best European suppliers so no one can question the quality of the final package. This bike is, without exaggeration, the ultimate proof that the silent invasion phase is over, and we're now in the middle of Chinese brands consolidating as serious, permanent players in the big displacement adventure segment. And that wraps up this countdown, riders. 10 bikes, 10 different takes, but one underlying message. The Chinese industry isn't competing on price anymore. It's competing on engineering, technology, and character of its own. From the accessible Benelli TRK 702 to the formidable CFMoto 1000 MT-X, by way of the surprising lightness of the Cove 800X Rally and the German technical heritage hidden inside the Vogue DS 900X, it's crystal clear that the world map of adventure bikes is changing for good. And the traditional Japanese and European brands can no longer afford to ignore what's happening in China. Thanks for sticking around to the end of this video. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, and share this content on social media and with your favorite riding buddy. Ride safe and see you next time.